What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noel, and here I talk about whatever it is I want to talk about. You guys already know what it is. Back to the BGC review season series that I'm doing. Okay, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're gonna do that, and today we're gonna be talking about season 16. Now, before we get into that, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram. Dun 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 dun. Or you can follow me on Twitter. Whichever one that you prefer. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification down below so that you get notified when I upload new videos. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So I have to say, before I start going through the girls, I enjoyed season 16. I enjoyed it a lot more than I remember enjoying it the first time I saw it. I enjoyed it so much more. And I think that season 16 is definitely better than season 12. It's of course better than season 11. And it's better than season 14 and 13. As far as the seasons post season 11, it's much, much higher up there. Season 16 is a lot more positive than I remember. And I know when I originally watched it, I was like, oh, this is kind of getting boring, because at some point, like, everybody starts leaving, like, to the point where there's only one original left, and it was Z, and I was very shocked. I don't think that that's the case. Like, I won't say funny moments, like the girls weren't hilarious, but they were lighthearted. Yeah, like towards the end of the season, everybody was getting along. They were doing like a lot of good things. Like they went to like a homeless shelter. They had dinner together, like a cooked dinner. They were talking about their lives. And like, I feel like towards the end of the season, yes, the drama died down because most of the like problematic people had like left and like the beefs were like dying down. I don't think that makes it a boring season. And I think it's really messed up just because like it just shows that a lot of people who watch this show only value the drama and the fighting, which goes for all reality TV shows. But however, I think just because bad girls aren't fighting and they're getting along doesn't necessarily make the season boring. I actually really enjoyed the season. I thought the season ended very well. And I know that it was rumored that season 16 got cut short. Like the final episode is episode 10, and then there's like the reunion, so it's only 12 episodes instead of 14. But I honestly think that this was a lot better. Like I think some of the seasons prior could have done a lot better with just a 12 episode season. I enjoyed season 16, and of course we know with season 16, a lot of talk about bullying was happening and all that stuff. Bullying was like the central theme of this season, and it was a lot. But those are my initial thoughts about it. I know they had a lot of strong personalities, just people kept getting sent home or going home. And I definitely think that like had the originals like stayed longer throughout the season, there definitely would have been a lot more content than there actually was. Without further ado, we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna talk about the girls, and this time, unlike season 12, I do have strong opinions, or stronger opinions, about the girls. So I will be starting from my least favorite and going to my favorites of the season. Remember, this is just for fun. This is just for fun. I do not know any of these girls personally. This show went off the air in 2017. So please do not go to any of these girls' Instagrams or Twitters or Tumblrs if they have a Tumblr and harass them. They have moved on with their lives. Also, I do not have any personal beef or vendetta against any of the bad girls. I'm talking about them as they were portrayed on this edited TV show. Without further ado, I know even though I said further ado so many times, let's get started. Oh. My least favorite is Kaylee, which I'm sure some of you guys are surprised. Like I'm sure some of you were like dream dolls at the bottom. No, she's not. I don't think Kaylee is a bad person. I think similar to Alex on season 12, Kaylee did not need to be on the Bad Girls Club. I don't think the Bad Girls Club was for her. I do not. And I think when it comes to reality TV, you can't really tell how someone is going to be until you get them on there. Like, of course, there's auditions, there's audition tapes, but like, I think with Bad Girls Club, they get these girls who go on there and like, oh yes, I'm that girl, I'm a bad girl. Obviously, everybody can't be the alpha female. So I think some of these girls, they talk a big game in their audition tapes and their interviews, and then when they get there, it's like, loser! You know what I mean? And I think that what happened with Kaylee. I don't think Kaylee deserved, she didn't deserve anything she got. Like, obviously, someone picking you up and then tossing you outside on the concrete is not okay. Someone physically assaulting you is not okay. People throwing out your stuff for little to no reason, for no reason really, is not okay. What I say is, Kaylee was not interesting to watch. I did not find Kaylee to be an interesting or compelling person, just because she was very bland to me. And then, like, her whole strategy of, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm just gonna let you guys keep beating me up, and then talking as if I did something. Like, she kept saying, oh yeah, I sent Dream Doll home at the reunion, I'm gonna send her home again. I'm just like, you didn't, it's not like you beat her up and sent her home and she went home. Like, she kicked you in the back and was sent home for bullying. Like, I don't know about that. I just didn't find Kaylee interesting, and I don't think Kaylee should have been cast on the season. I don't think she's a bad person. I have no vendetta against her. I just did not enjoy watching her on my screen because she was boring. She was boring. And yeah, and I feel like any of the replacements should have definitely had her spot. Like, I would have much preferred Candy, Tiara, Cabrina, or Stephanie being an original as opposed to Kaylee. Kaylee should not have been on the season. She didn't bring much to the show. Like, no one wants to watch a puppy get kicked for like 12 episodes. No one wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch that. And I think it's also frustrating just because like the first episode when they were picking on Kaylee, she fought back. She stood up for herself. So it was like, we know that she has the capacity to stand up for herself because we've seen her do it before. But the fact that she stood up for herself and then just like immediately back down was really sad. Also, last thing I want to say about Kaylee, she apologized to Winter. And even Winter was like, why are you apologizing to me? Like, that shows that you're a weak-minded person. Like, you have no reason to apologize. Like, Winter picked you up with Dream Doll and tossed you on the concrete. Why are you apologizing to somebody who physically assaulted you? That doesn't make any sense. Just no.
Delete, block, is back.
Next, we have Candy, who you guys are probably shocked, whatever. I didn't dislike Candy throughout the entire season. I just really immediately started disliking her when it came to the Talone situation, where she and Talone, her and Bernicia, Talone, whatever, they hooked up. And then Candy went psycho. And Candy was like following her around, trying to force her to lay down, telling her what to do, taking roses out of her hands, getting in her face, putting her hands on her, like, too much. And it's like and I think it's so interesting that Candy was preaching like bullying, no bullying, no bullying, no bullying. And then if we want to call it, for this purpose, if we want to call it harassment, she harassed Bernicia. She harassed that girl and then hit her at the end and they fought. Like, whatever. And then for her to call Bernicia, and as Candy's a black woman, and yes, she apologized, but she's a black woman who called another black woman's children gorillas. Said that both her daughters were ugly and called them gorillas on national television. National television. And in my mind, that is worse than anything that Winter and Dream Doll did. Like, for me, that was like Candy's immediately unlikable. And it's like, I feel like Candy, watching the season, she portrayed herself as like the hero. Like, oh yeah, Winter and Dream Doll are so horrible that by me going against them automatically, I'm going to be the great person. I'm standing up for Kaylee. I'm standing up for the people who've been bullied, who have been treated less than. And then I feel like the moment she called Talone's kids twin gorillas, she lost all credibility. All credibility. Terrible. However, I will say that she definitely was good karma for Winter, and it was entertaining watching her like get Winter in check since Winter had been like big bad wolf, and we'll get to that. But aside from that, like aside from her coming at Winter, which was refreshing because Winter kind of did need to be humbled in that moment. Just didn't make sense. Once the end of the season, I was just like, I don't care about what's Candy. Like whatever Candy has to say, I don't care about it anymore. She just called two black girls gorillas, ugly gorillas, terrible. On top of that, while Candy did have a reason to dislike Winter, her reason wasn't that deep, and I feel like it was to the point. It was very obvious. It was very obvious that Candy was reaching for things to kind of Winter for. She called Winter a slut, even though she doesn't know Winter's sex life. She was going off of the whole Kaylee situation, but like Kaylee wasn't in the house when Candy got there. Like Candy never met Kaylee until after the season was over. So for her to like. I just think that like Candy did not like Winter, which is okay. You don't have to like people. But similar to Britt on season 12, Candy was going out of her way to find reasons to mess with Winter. Like it was very clear that Winter was, I'm not gonna say scared, but at some point it was very clear that Winter was somewhat intimidated by Candy. I feel like Candy knew this and she went out of her way to antagonize Winter. Like I feel like had Candy not said anything, Winter would have never came at her sideways because Winter was trying to stay out of the drama. But that's how I feel about Candy. That's why she's so low.
A little questionable here.
What?
I said it's a little questionable.
Next, we have Dream Doll. What can I say about Dream Doll? Dream Doll, she harassed Kaylee for no reason because Kaylee didn't look the way that she wanted her to look, didn't fit in with the girls, was awkward. She kicked Kaylee in the back. She did not apologize for it. And even her apology at the reunion was very unauthentic because when she got to the reunion and they had the little interviews for the reunion, she was talking about how Kaylee's the reason why she got kicked off the show, and it's Kaylee's fault that she got kicked off the show, and that Kaylee did not belong there and should have fought back. Dream Doll is right. Kaylee should not have been cast in the show because she was not entertaining and she just wasn't a good fit for the show. She also was right that Kaylee should have stood up for herself. However, Dream Doll, if you are attacking somebody and they are not fighting back, you should stop assaulting them. I don't really, and even the people who are on my lower end, I don't hate. Well, I don't hate any bad girls because I just think that's really stupid to hate people on who you don't know and who don't know in real life. And like, you know, there's a TV show, like I don't hate anybody. I may strongly dislike some of the things they do, and it may upset me as a viewer, but I don't hate them, and I would not send death threats or stalk them on their social media and say a bunch of mean things. Anyway, Dream Doll did not show her best qualities. Okay, she didn't show her best qualities, and that's about it. Like now with that being said, I'm gonna say something very controversial. Once again, what Dream Doll did to Kaylee was wrong. However, Dream Doll was right. Kaylee should not have been cast on the show. I would have much preferred if Kaylee was not, if I were to produce this season all over again, I would take Kaylee out of the cast. I would much rather watch Dream Doll for 5 episodes than Kaylee for 5 episodes. Even though Dream Doll was a mean person on the show and she was harassing people and doing a lot of messy things, which was clearly because no drama was popping off and she was trying to get drama popped off with Winter. I would have preferred if Kaylee had gone home and Dream Doll had stayed. Even though Dream Doll was wrong for what she did to Kaylee, I find Dream Doll a more entertaining person to watch on television than Kaylee. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that because Dream Doll has, you know, a big butt and boobs and is very pretty. From personality perspective, Dream Doll was more entertaining to watch on the show, and I feel like she would have brought more to the show than Kaylee did. Like in 5 episodes, what did Kaylee really do?
I don't think so.
Okay, the next person we have is Z. Z, I didn't really care for Z. I mean, I don't dislike Z, but I don't think she was a great bad girl. Like, she was fake. And I mean, unlike, I will say, out of all the girls who switched up, because Persuasion, Adrienne, all of them were like participating in Kaylee getting kicked out the first night. Z's apology was the most sincere. Actually, I don't remember if Persuasion apologized. I don't know. If she did, maybe I didn't see it, maybe I don't forget. But Z was just very, Z came off as very desperate to fit in. Like, as the girls were saying, like, they told her that Bernicia was talking about her, calling her fake, and she immediately went to go fight her and pour water on her. Like, you tried to bully this girl and pick on her, and then it didn't work out for you. And then on top of that, it's just like, I will appreciate that. I appreciated Z being like, you know what, yes, the girls put a battery in my back, but like, I made the decision to fight her. So like, she took accountability. I appreciate that. But like, Z just came off as very desperate to fit in with the other girls. And then on top of that, when all the originals leave and Tiara, a very nice replacement, you try to test her and like mean girl her. Wrong. And it's also just like, at the moment that Bernicia went home, Z chose to like say her true feelings about Bernicia, which is just like, girl, why didn't you say, would you have written all that stuff on her picture if she was there? You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have. Like, you wouldn't have. Like, Z was just she very much was a follower, was very much like, I will say, I can definitely tell the production liked her because with all the negative qualities that they showed about her, they showed a lot of her positive qualities. And I will say her backstory about, you know, dealing with like sexual assault or SA was very touching. And like, I do think out of all the bad girls on that season, Z probably did the most personal growth and probably grew the most. And I will say, I can say that. And I do think by the end of the season, I enjoyed watching her arc as a person. Like, she very much changed and matured. I appreciated that. However, she had a lot of mixed qualities. As far as a bad girl, she was very fake, very unauthentic, very much follower, and very much trying too hard. And definitely seemed that once all the other originals left, she kind of got a big head. And I don't think that she would have had that much confidence had the other girls stayed.
I just wanted to know, what ethnicity do you identify as?
I'm black.
As black?
I am black. I'm
Okay.
absolutely black.
Okay.
And the next girl we talk about is Winter. Now, Winter is such a controversial person. I feel like amongst the bad girls, Winter is just probably one of the most controversial, just because about the whole, you know, whether she's black or not and all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into it. I've talked about it in other videos, and honestly, I'm just, at this point, I don't care enough to keep talking about it. I actually enjoyed Winter on this season. Was Winter very immature? Yes. Was she kind of a bully? Absolutely. But she was entertaining. Like, on Bad Girls Club, like, even if you're a villain, or whether you're a fan favorite or a villain, like, as long as you're entertaining, I personally am okay watching you. And Winter was entertaining, and although she had, like, some really bad moments, she was funny. Like, she had some, like, she has personality. Like, she has personality, you know? And I enjoy her. And honestly, after, how do I put this? Winter's racial identity aside, after Candy said that whole gorillas comment, it made me like, I'm on Winter's side. I'm like, Winter, get her. Because how dare she talk about 2 innocent black children? Let me get off that topic, because I've been talking about that a lot during this video. But I just did not like that. And to be honest, when we think about BGC 16, one of the main people who come to mind, one of the main girls who come to mind is Winter. Like, she was a big majority of the season, you know? Now, I will say she got punked out. And this is not just me like coming for her, because I'm not coming for anybody, I'm just talking about the show. But Winter has a story time on her YouTube channel, and on that story time video, she says that the producers told her that if she left, because they did not want her to leave, if she left, they were going to edit it to make it look like she was afraid of Candy. And that's very much what they did. I'm not trying to say that Winter, I'm going to say Winter was intimidated by Candy. To give Winter the benefit of the doubt, she had been into the most altercations in the season. She had her finger, like the tip of her finger broken. So like, I understand her not wanting to get into an altercation. However, that argument kind of crumbles when Winter approaches Kaylee and is like, even with a broken finger, I'll drag you. And then when Candy shows up and she's like packing up to leave, Winter's like, Candy's like, you don't gotta go home. And then Winter's just like, and then Ryan's like, no, her finger is so messed up. And Winter's like, I'm over it. Like, it looks like it's a double standard. Like, you can't tell Kaylee, I'll drag you with the broken finger. And then when Candy steps to you, say, oh, my finger's hurting, so I'm not gonna like fight you. It's like the same vibe as like Red saying that her stomach hurts and that's why she didn't want to fight Asia after talking about how Asia was the next person to get bopped. You know what I mean? But Winter had some very decent moments. I will say Sway was on her behind. Like, she was very much like on her behind. Like, Sway was like, I'm not taking my foot off this girl's neck. To an extent, I get it. Like, excuse me, the way that Winter was portrayed on the season, it was given very much like the person in the group who doesn't know when to let the joke go. Like, everybody was messing with Kaylee. Like, they were all messing with Kaylee, except for like Talone. So I think when everybody else had moved on, because Winter kept going for it, and obviously it's the Bad Girls Club, so like you have to be like, pettiness is part of the game. But she was very much like, she was taking it too far. And like the whole, well, if Kaylee says she's not gonna go home until Winter puts me out, you know, I get it, but like, it's kind of like, like, it's not real. Just leave the girl alone, you know? Leave the girl alone. Like, y'all are 6 girls living in a house together. Drama is going to happen eventually, you know? Drama's gonna happen eventually. And I definitely think that like Winter and Dream Doll were like kicking drama off and keeping it going, which was good for the season, just like, not from like a, you know, a moral standpoint. But I don't hate Winter. I definitely think she got the villain edit on this season, definitely, but I think by the end of it, I liked her way more than I liked Candy. A decent bad girl, but they definitely, like, they played her in the edit. Like, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make it look like you were really afraid of Candy, and they surely did. They surely did. I will say at the reunion, Winter was like, when Winter started yelling at Candy and was like, why are you so loud? I was like, me too, sis. Because it was just a point at the reunion where like, Candy was just yelling, Candy and Sabrina were just yelling about, like, I understand what they were yelling about, but it was also just like, let it go. Like, it's not that deep. We gotta move on. You know what I mean? But that's all I have to say about Winter. Winter was Winter. I'll say that.
Oh yes, the camera loves your nastiness.
Okay, next we have Sway. I enjoyed Sway. I thought Sway was good. I wish Sway would have stayed longer, but of course, you know, biting, or at least when the producers decide that biting is, you know, a bad thing, because Raymond bit somebody. So many decisions that don't make sense. I enjoyed Sway. I enjoyed her beef with Winter. I thought it was kind of really funny that, like, Sway was giving Winter the energy that Winter was giving Kaylee. This was another point in the season where it's showing, like, okay, Winter has this energy for Kaylee and Z, but she don't got that energy for Sway and Candy. Not saying she was afraid, just saying that like her approaches to those 4 individuals were very different. And I will say, out of the gang, I will say Sway definitely came off the more likable. And I will say that's just because she kind of owned it. She was like, yeah, we messed with Kaylee, and she's like, Kaylee, you know, if that ever happens to you again, like, you're the windmill on everybody, including me. And the last thing I'll say about Sway is I definitely think, I enjoyed her storyline about like sexual assault and her being, you know, her being willing to like talk about that and her helping Z. Like, I thought that like, that was a beautiful moment. And I think Sway had a very beautiful story and to tell, and I enjoyed her on the season. She was positive. I just wish she would have stayed longer. Here we go. Next we have is Adrienne. There's not much to say about Adrienne. She was funny. She was chill. She was just relaxing. Like, she didn't do much until she got into a production. I think, aside from Morgan from season 5, like, I don't think anybody's gotten into a production the way that Adrienne did. Adrienne definitely was, she was with the gang. She may not be, like, jumping people and fighting people, but she was definitely, it was definitely giving, you know, she's not a bully, but, like, when the bullies, like, make a joke, she's, like, laughing on the side, like, hee hee ha 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 ha. So it was giving that, very much that. I think her beefing with production was funny from an entertainment standpoint, but also really dumb just because she was talking about how, like, she wants to be in radio and be in the entertainment industry, and I'm just like, you know, I don't know what the connections that, like, Buno and Murray or the production company that makes Backers Club, I don't know how many connections they have, but, you know, people know each other in the entertainment industry, and her, you know, beefing with them kind of alienated her, because, like, she never knows, she might want to work with them. Obviously, we know that BGC 17 was the last season, but, you know, who knows? They could have, like, brought her in for, like, casting specials. They could have brought her in to do something else. They could have gave her a recommendation. Like, I feel like she was definitely burning bridges that she did not need to burn. Especially with Tanisha, like, her behavior at the reunion was very weird. Like, she came in very, like, ready to argue with Tanisha. Like, it seemed like that was her mission, to, like, argue with Tanisha. And I definitely think that, like, once again, she should have came at it with a different angle, saying, like, hey, Tanisha, I really admire what you do. I want to do what you do. Instead of saying, I want your chair, girl. Get about that chair. No, that's not how you come at somebody that you want. That's not how you come at somebody who's doing what you want to do professionally. She could have been like, hey, Tanisha, I'm How. It's nice to meet you, yada, yada, yada. I really want to be in radio, and I really want to, you know, host and, like, be like you. And who knows, Tanisha could have had connections. Who knows, for the season 17 reunion, they could have brought Adrienne to be, like, a backstage liaison. Like, you don't know. And her beefing with these people and, like, getting into it with them is very much inappropriate. And I think it was definitely inappropriate with her, like, getting up like she was going to fight Tanisha. Because even though her and Tanisha were having a disagreement, Tanisha wasn't like, I'm going to beat you up. You know, at the end of the day, Tanisha's working. Like, Tanisha was season 2. Like, this is season 16. Like, Tanisha has done the thing. She's done the Bad Girls experience. She's fought. She's done all that. Had her reunion. Like, this is your moment. She's there doing a job. She's being paid to be there. So obviously she's not going to get up out of her seat and fight one of the cast members. So, like, Adrienne said, oh, now you want to get up when I leave. And it's like, yes, girl, she's doing a job. Nobody should. Honestly, Tanisha should be angry with the security guards for not stepping in, because there was a long period of time where, like, it was just Adrienne and Tanisha, and there was nothing but space and opportunity. And if Adrienne wanted to, she definitely could have run up on Tanisha, and Tanisha would not have been in a good position. So, like, if anybody, I mean, Tanisha should have been mad at Adrienne, but she should have been mad at the security guards, because why were y'all allowing this girl to, like, approach her and confront her aggressively for long enough to where she could have ran up and did some damage? You know what I mean? But I enjoyed Adrienne. I thought she was funny, and, you know, I did enjoy her, like, talking to that lady for, like, I guess who did the Bitch Bibles, like, the other podcaster. I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed, you know, one thing I enjoyed about season 16, they showcase what the girls are after. They showcase people's talents, you know. Talone got to do her rapping, Z got to do her clothing line, Stephanie got to do her improv, Ryan got to do her podcast thing, Karina got to cook and go to the, you know, homeless shelter. Like, they did a lot of great things. That's what I love about this season. I think this season is, like I said before, this season is a lot more positive than I remember. Yes. Okay, next we have Cabrina. I enjoyed Cabrina. Cabrina was cool. I enjoyed her storyline about, like, the whole homeless shelter, her cooking for the girls. I think having a girl who does culinary arts is, like, very smart and, like, unique. I do think at the reunion, once again, her and Candy were, like, doing a lot.
Oh my God.
And I get it, like, they were, like, not feeling Dream Doll of Winter, but it was, like, a lot of animosity for, like, two girls that just y'all weren't living with long enough. But the Winter and Dream Doll were on some BS, like, some we're better than everybody else type stuff, so I get it. But it was just, like, at this point, it was, like, the yelling is becoming too much. Like, Tanisha even got up off the stage and walked away because she was like, we can't get anything done. Like, y'all keep yelling. But I do think Cabrina was definitely, like, the voice of reason. I enjoyed her on the season, and I do love when, like, Candy and Talone are, like, arguing. She was like, are y'all finished or y'all done? I don't know, that was funny to me. Yes. Okay, so the next girl we have is Tiara, the replacement. I don't really have much to say about Tiara. She wasn't there that long, same with Cabrina. But I like Tiara. She was sweet, she was nice, she was fun, she had fun. I don't think they really gave us a lot to talk about as far as, like, her personality. Like, all we found out about her is that she has multiple businesses, multiple jobs, she gets to the bag. Like, that's pretty much all we learned about her. We didn't learn too much. I thought it was really corny how Z was trying to try her and like be mean girl when Z was not the mean girl the entire season. She tried at the beginning, it did not work. So I wasn't really feeling that per se, but I enjoyed Tiara. I thought Tiara was good. I did think that she did check Z when she was like, even if someone's testing me, like, they're gonna look stupid. And I appreciated that. Like, she didn't pop off. She was just like, girl, I know what you're doing. I see the game. I see it. I'm not cool with it. I'm not living for it. Stop. But I enjoyed Tiara. They really try to play her like, there are people in the world who don't drink alcohol. There are people in the world who do not drink alcohol. It's not that crazy. Now, obviously, going to the Bad Girls Club is probably not the best thing to do if you don't drink alcohol because everybody drinks all the time. But they were looking at her like, girl, you don't drink. Like, some people just don't drink alcohol. They just don't. And I mean, she ended up doing it, so. I don't have too much to say about Tiara. I just liked her. She was a good person. Like, she was just a good person. And I feel like she was just a lot more likable than, like, a lot of the people originals, you know? I liked her a lot more than the originals. The next girl, now we're getting to my top two. My top two of the season, baby.
M.I. Criggly, criggly, I. Criggly, criggly, I. Humpy, humpy, I. Mississippi, pride, pride. M.I. Criggly, criggly, I. Criggly, criggly, I.
The next one we get into is Stephanie. I love Stephanie. From her dolphin laugh, to her energy, to her just being wacky. Her impressions were not that good, but they were entertaining. Like, she was a ball of positivity. And I think Stephanie was very much needed. I think that it was great for her to be the first replacement because she came in and just brought joy to the house. Like, there was so much drama and negativity, and I think Stephanie just brought the joy and the fun they needed in the house. She was also the voice of reason, and she just broke up the mood. Like, once again, if the whole season of Bad Girls Club is just yelling and fighting over and over and over, you're going to get exhausted. I mean, take the Zeus shows, for instance. But, like, you need somebody who's funny and entertaining. And I know that a lot of Bad Girls Club fans love the fighters and who has hands and who's the baddest and yada yada yada. But think of arguably the two most popular Bad Girls out of the entire franchise, Judy and Tanisha. When people talk about Judy and Tanisha, they don't talk about, oh, Judy has hands or Tanisha got in that fight with Jada BC. Nobody cares about that. They be talking about their iconic moments, their iconic lines, pop off, breakfast in bed, I got the voodoo for you. Like, funny to me, funny bad girls with great personalities will always be better than the bad girls who can just beat everybody up. Because who cares? Like, who cares? Like, you need funny like, it's reality TV. Like, the girls aren't fighting all the time. So when they're not fighting, if the only time you're interested in is when you're throwing a punch, then that's not going to be really great for the viewers because we're watching you eat breakfast, go to the club, get dressed, talk to the other cast members. If you're boring or just not that entertaining, it's like, who cares, you know? You can have the best hands ever. That doesn't make you a great TV personality, you know what I mean? It's a balance. Or not even a balance. You just gotta be funny. If you're entertaining, like Judy, she's not a fighter, but she's funny. She's entertaining, you know? I found Stephanie to be very entertaining, and I enjoyed her positive energy. Also, my mother's name is Stephanie, so I appreciate that. But I just loved her. I loved her. She was awesome. She was amazing. She was exactly what needed to happen. Exactly what needed to happen.
Boom, and there it is. There we go.
Last but not least, we have my favorite this season, the star. Come on, it's Bernicia. It's Bernicia. Like, like, it's Bernicia. Like, Bernicia was just real. The realest in the house. She was just herself. She didn't come in trying too hard like some people, like Z, maybe Dream Doll. She was just herself. And she made it very known what her intentions were. She was there for her music and that she can make a better life for her and her daughters. And I love that. And I think it was very corny for them to be like, oh, you have kids, you gotta go home. But obviously, like, it was, I think, honestly, all the petty stuff that happened, like the first 2 episodes, I think it's because they were bored. Because nobody was popping off. Like, think about season 12. You know, the first night, Lindsay was wilding. You know, nobody was wilding. Nobody was going off. Like, everybody was being very calm and cool and chill. So, like, obviously someone wanted to start up the drama because it's the Bad Girls Club. So I think that's why they were being so petty. Like, it was stupid. It was very stupid. And I don't think any of them really cared because after they saw Bernicia wasn't going for that, they were like, okay, who cares? Like, she's cool. Like, nobody cared that much, you know? I did think her beef with Z, she had a right to beef with Z. I think because Z poured water on her the first time, which is messed up. And then the second time, she was like, she wanted to see if Z was gonna, you know, have the same energy when nobody else is around. So I appreciate that. The third time was really petty because she was like, oh, Z's mad because Kaylee went home. That was petty.
The storyline for me has run stale.
Like, I told her, I was like, y'all gotta stop fighting because y'all don't fought like 3 to 4 times. But I enjoyed her. I felt bad during the Candy situation just because she sat down, she had conversations with Candy, she was very respectful, and it was like no matter what she did, Candy was not going for it. If she talked it out, Candy wasn't going for it. If she walked away, Candy wasn't going for it. And then Candy brought in her daughters and her mother who are not on the show. I didn't like that. I felt like that was just like, it was a lose-lose situation. Like no matter what she did, Candy was going to find a reason to beef with her because Candy was in her feelings and she was mad. And it was very obvious that even after they were like, okay, we're done with each other, Candy was looking for any reason to say something to her. Any reason. Like she knew Bernicia was not going to talk to her. So she was looking for any reason to approach her. And I just did not like that. But I thought that Bernicia was very cool. And I definitely think that like towards the end, you definitely see that like she came out the better person and out of her beef with Z. Because after her and Z like had that conversation at the dinner table when Sabrina cooked for everybody and they were like, you know, we're not gonna hold no more grudges, we're gonna move forward, we respect each other, yada yada yada. The second that she left, Z's talking about how her clothes are from Goodwill. She's holding up her picture while Candy writes on it, telling Candy what to write on it. Like, it's very clear that Z did not have the same energy she had for Bernicia in Bernicia's face because she knew how Bernicia gets it. But Bernicia's just awesome. She's awesome. She's funny. She stands up for herself. I think Bernicia did what Kaylee should have done because Bernicia and Kaylee were both on the outskirts. Now, obviously, Winter and Dream Doll did not pick up Bernicia by her feet and toss her outside. I think they knew better. I think they knew that wasn't going to work. But Bernicia didn't care that everybody wanted her out. She was like, if you want me out, put me out. And unlike Kaylee, she didn't just become a punching bag. Once again, what happened to Kaylee was wrong. However, Kaylee should not have been on the show. I'm going to stand by that 100%. But what else can I say? Bernicia is the best person on the cast. Period. Hands down. She made season 16. Like, I think if I had to name the top 3 people, and I'm not talking about my top 3 favorites, I'm talking about the top 3 people who brought something to this season, who made this season, let me say 4. Bernicia, Winter, and then Candy and Sway. Those are the 4 people who really brought something. Dream Doll, but she wasn't there that long. But that's all the girls. So overall, season 16 was a great season. And I honestly enjoyed watching it a lot more. Like, honestly, when I was watching season 12, I was kind of like, I'm talking about season 12 because I just like, it was the last one I reviewed before this. Like season 12, it was kind of dragging. Like I was kind of like, I don't care about this anymore. But season 16, I was actually invested and I actually enjoyed it. I just think the season suffers because they sent girls home. Girls went home so quickly. Like at some point, it was just like the house felt empty. Like girls were just going home, going home, going home, going home. But the season was very positive, and I think unlike other seasons where like the girls, like they did stuff. Like they went to the homeless shelter. They went to the homeless shelter. What else did they do? They went, they had like sandwich eating contests, they had a roast, they had like a bunch of different stuff. Like the girls Bernicia had her concert, people went to the studio, like I think season 16, they had the most like activities that I remember. And at least in recent seasons, like the girls were doing things and they were doing things that they were passionate about. And I think that's what broke it up. Like we can only see them in the house for so long, but we gotta see them do different things. And I appreciated that. And then the season, I think people call the second half of the season boring because like not a lot of drama was happening, but like I don't think it's boring, it's just positive. And I just think people just don't like positivity on the Bad Girls Club because they just want to see people fight. But you gotta do more than just fighting. Now on to the reunion. The reunion was good. I think it was definitely glad the reunion was a 2-parter. I honestly think every Bad Girls Club reunion should be a 2-parter because the first part is just the girls meeting up and talking mess and who they got beef with. Like, we already know who has beef with who. We already know. I think the reunion was great. I think, how do I put this? There were 2 sides that were annoying me. Dream Doll and Winter were annoying me because they were on my nerves because they kept trying to apologize, but like also not apologize. Like, it was like, oh yeah, I should never got kicked off the show. It's Kaylee's fault that I got kicked off the show. But also, I'm sorry. I would never want someone to do that to my sister or my family or my friends. And it's just like, are you sorry or are you not sorry? You gotta pick one. Are you sorry or are you not sorry? However, I will say with Winter, I think what Winter was saying is like, after Winter apologized and her and Kaylee moved past things, Kaylee reignited things with that phone message. And I think what Winter was trying to say is, we deaded the issue. And after we deaded the issue, you reignited the issue by talking mess on the phone, which I agree with. I feel like if y'all apologize and y'all agree to move forward, then let that be that. Like, we don't need to keep talking about it. And on the other end, the other group during the reunion that was irritating me was Sabrina and Candy, because while I understood what they were saying, they were just shouting so much and getting so irate, and it was just like, neither one of y'all were on the season that long. Well, Candy, no. No, they were on the, no, because they came like within an episode of each other. I was just like, y'all, it was too much. It was too much. It was too much. I definitely think that like the fight between Candy and Winter, I'm not gonna talk about who won, because I don't know, there's two like, I don't know, the way it's filmed, it's like there's one part where it looks like Winter is like hitting Candy a bunch of times, and there's the other part where it looks like Candy's just dodging everything, but who cares? They both walked away pretty unscathed. I think Winter had like a little red stuff underneath her nose, but who cares? I saw that fight coming from a million miles away, because the way that they edited it, it made it look like Winter was scared of Candy, so of course she's gonna come to the reunion and run up on Candy. Also, Candy was tweeting a lot about Winter. You can definitely tell that like Candy cared more about the beef than Winter did. Like, I don't think Winter cared that much, but I mean, it's a Bad Girls Club, so. But I think that's just Candy's personality. Based on the show, I think that's just Candy's personality. Like, regardless of whoever Candy beefed with, she was not gonna take her foot off their neck. I just think that's just the tea. The last thing on the reunion I want to talk about is one funny moment I really enjoyed was when Z was like, I think this whole house is fake. And then Brian was like, you can matrix Missy with that. I'm not fake. That's not me. And then Tiara was like, the whole house is not fake. No, I don't think so. Try again. Like, that was hilarious. It's like, no, Z, the whole house is not fake. It's you. And last thing I'm going to talk about is Dream Doll getting her hair pulled and dragged at the very end of the reunion. Was Dream Doll wrong? Absolutely. I'm not going to advocate physical violence. However, I definitely think that there were people on that stage, Kaylee, who had a reason to want to have a physical altercation with her, who had a justified reason, because Dream Doll physically assaulted Kaylee on several occasions. With that being said, I think it was extremely corny of Candy to pull Dream Doll's hair at the end of the reunion, especially because Dream Doll is like, it's not like Dream Doll was like Mayweather people during the season. Like, she didn't do much. And she's shorter than Candy. So it's just like, girl. Like, I just think it was really dumb. And I think it was really corny. And honestly, I would have respected Candy a lot more had she just been like, listen, Dream Doll, I'm tired of you. I don't like how you moving. Kaylee doesn't want to fight you, so I'm gonna fight you for Kaylee. Had she just said that, I'd have respected it. I'd have been like, if she had just been like, you know what, Dream Doll, get up. Because Kaylee's not gonna fight you, so I'm gonna fight you for my friend Kaylee. I would have respected that. But her just pulling her hair at the end of the reunion was really corny. Really corny. With that being said, that is all my thoughts on BGC 16. That is my review of the season. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got your life. I hope you loved it. I will try to edit this video and get it out to you guys as soon as possible. But that's all I got for you today. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification down below so that you get notified when I upload new videos. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Boy toy named Troy used to live in Detroit. Big dope dealing money, he was getting some coins. Was in shootouts with the law, but he lived in a palace.